Hello and welcome to the Winner's Circle. I'm your host, Dr. Sean Hubbard. As you're aware, on the Winner's Circle, we like to focus on the challenges of the day, society's challenges, personal challenges, interpersonal. And we have a lot going on right now this year. I wanted to really focus on exactly where we are in the pandemic and where we are with regard to our global health. And it seems really clear that we really need some healing. When I thought about this, it occurred to me that I know somebody who knows a lot about healing. She's a healer, and she's a good friend of mine. Her name is Connie Lam. Connie, welcome to the Winner's Circle. I'm so glad to have you on.
Hello, Dr. Sean. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. It's very natural. Very natural to have you on right now. You know, I've been following you and checking you out for a lot of time now, about 5 years. I think you're always very consistent. You're always very positive. The energy you send out into the world, I always appreciate it. Not only do I appreciate it, but you keep it 100. I don't know if you have heard this terminology. I think that you're coming from the Philippines right now, right?
Yes, currently I am. Originally, I'm from Hong Kong, but
Yes.
because of business, right now I'm residing in the Philippines for a while.
I see, I see.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you, when I hear you and when I see what you write and what you put out for us to consume and benefit from and grow from, I always think she always keeps it 100. 100% is the way we kind of say that, you know, keeps it real, you know.
Authentic.
Authentic, exactly. And that's what we need, you know. We've been through a challenging year. You've probably been watching from afar in the U.S. We've gone through elections, which were challenging. We've had the pandemic, which has affected all of us all over the world, of course. We've seen brutality in our streets, and we've had reactions to that, which have been painful. It's been a very challenging year, and we all feel it. And there's a fair amount of hurt and some distrust and some hurt, you know, there's some pain. And so I thought, wow, you know, we really need to see how we can transition nicely from this spot where we are right now into the new year. So that's why I'm really excited to get you on and see what we can offer our guests, the Winner's Circle, and those that follow you as well. So I'm really excited for what you can bring us.
Thank you. Thank you so much again. And yes, you're right. There's a lot happening this year, right? The whole year. But in fact, you know, it is not just this year. Things are always, you know, happening like year from year. And this year is kind of like a wake-up call for a lot of people, as to my perspective. So it's kind of like a learning year for a lot of people to really realize what they truly want or what they really want to do. They got time, and they got time to reflect about their life. So I would say that that's like a good or not so good perspective. It really depends on how you want to take it, right?
Right. Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I hear what you're saying. So, if I understand what you're saying correctly, and I do see your point that a lot of what we're dealing with right now at this moment, it didn't just show up a year ago. You know, some of these symptoms were there perhaps before. Things have been changing. Do I understand what you're saying correctly, Connie?
Yes, you're right. You're right. I think this year is more like the push to a lot of people to really spend time to understand what's happening inside them, not just around the world, but it's more about the self-learning and self-discovery for this year. Because we got a lot of time to spend either with yourself, if you are alone, or with your family. And then you started to realize a lot of things that you never, ever had time to understand or make time to understand. But this year is more like everyone is being forced to have to do it because you have nothing else that you can do, right? When you were forced to spend time with your family, or when you're forced to spend time with yourself, the only thing that you can do is you get to learn more about how everything works within you and also around you with yourself. I hope that makes sense.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
It does. You're actually reminding me of what has occurred. I mean, usually we like to go on trips. We do more traveling in my family, but we've been laying low and we've been having more dinners together. small gatherings. You know, you're
Yes.
right. It has been that
Yes.
kind of a time.
Yes, it's about perspective. Because
Different.
what I believe is, I always have this quote in my mind. Everything is that things happened. That I will always remind myself that life is 10% what happens to you, and 90% how you respond to it. And that is very, very important. Because the same thing happened to different people. Some people can get really, both can get really like a different responses or reaction to that, right? So it's
Sure.
really depends on your perspective.
Perspective matters.
Yes,
Okay, okay. So I hear that's
correct.
a very consistent theme. I hear you saying it over and
Yes,
over. I'm getting it from you, Connie. I appreciate it. Perspective
thank
matters. We're
you.
learning.
We are all learning.
We're all
I'm
learning.
learning a lot from you too.
Absolutely. So let me ask, we have symptoms when we need to learn, when it's time to learn, and when we can benefit from healing. I wonder, what are some of the symptoms that you see in everyday life between, let's say, even individuals, or let's say a small group, or even a large group, or society? What are some of the symptoms and things that let us know that we need healing?
Um, the one beliefs that I have, or I would say that I believe that all of us, we have our past, right? From the first day that we were born, and that we're carrying a lot of different beliefs from others. And that is part of that. Some of the beliefs or some of the, I would say like limiting beliefs, they are not belong to us. They belong to perhaps our parents, our siblings, from the school or from our society, community. So the symptoms, most of the symptoms, actually the one very strong symptoms that we know that we need to be healed is there are recurring life patterns in your life. If I ask every of my clients, for example, when they come to me, they have their issues in life they want to heal and they want to resolve. And I will always ask them, do you see there's any pattern in your life? And they will say yes. They can record it. Either it can be relationship. They might be get into the same relationship over and over again. It can be career, can be money. Money is also a very big category. The people, they always like they can earn and then they lose. It seems like they never be able to keep the money. So that is all the symptoms that we say is the patterns of your life. That is already the symptom. And also the symptom can be you're very easy to get triggered, like very easy to get angry, very easy to get affected by other people's action and their words. And that's the trigger inside you. And that's also the symptoms. It's very, very easy to locate.
I see. I see. So then, if I'm walking around and if I'm angry, more of the times than I'm not, and I'm easily angered, and I'm repeating a lot of the same patterns, then this is an indication that probably I could benefit from healing, and then I would need somebody like you, to help me out. Is that where healing
And
comes in, and theta healing?
I can say that because if you have a very strong emotions, for example, very easy to get angry, or you're very easy to just trigger like by other people's action or words. There's something like inside you is really need to like a release. Maybe there are a lot of resentments that you're carrying forward, like from your past, and that you don't have any way to release it. And the only way that you release it is like you can blame others. You can always, get angry on other people's words and actions, right? And that's what I mean that the emotional triggers. Yeah.
Right, I hear you. Okay, so some of the symptoms I hear you saying, blame now is another symptom. Blaming, being angry a lot, and then I guess we would be complaining a lot to ourselves and to other people.
Yes.
Okay,
Correct.
I see, I see.
Correct. We all have that, right? It's just very normal for people. It's just so common and it's just so comfortable that we get used to it. It's like inside us, right? It's so common that if there's things happen, the first thing that what normal people will do
That makes
Perhaps
sense.
they,
That makes
sorry?
sense. Yes, it does. Yes. Yes.
Right.
So how do we break this
Yes.
cycle? And, as a healer, a theta healer, how does it work? You meet with individuals or groups, or how does it work when you help people break their cycle of,
I work with an individual.
okay,
Yeah, and you can be work with the group as well. But there's a difference in there because if I work with the group, that would be more general. First of all, I can introduce a little bit about theta healing.
yes,
So theta healing is like a meditative energy healing technique. So, and we believe that this technique we help people to heal the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual pain or any blocks that in their life through the theta healing state. Theta waves. If you heard about theta waves,
absolutely.
it is the state that we can access to the subconscious mind. And from there, we can reprogram or rewire their limiting beliefs or negative beliefs or any past traumas. So, and replace them with the positive beliefs. So that's what theta healing do. Yes. So back to the question that you asked, for the group healing, that would be more general because we also collect a lot of group consciousness in the world. That for the group healing, it would be more like a general healing that we can release all the general beliefs, basically like all areas in your life. It can be relationship, it can be money, it can be health, and that can be done in the group healing. However, if with individual, it can go much deeper because from there we can start to have a conversational process to find out where is the root cause because not everyone have the same experiences. And even you have the same experiences, doesn't mean that you have the same reaction or feelings or emotional attachment to it. So that's why for the individual, we can go very deep into their roots, and from there we can release those those limiting beliefs or those beliefs that no longer serve you. And most of the time, it's really go all the way back to your childhood, and that's everything like started from there.
Wow, that's tremendous.
So there's a difference between group healing and individual healing.
I see, and I completely understand what you're saying. That makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense, and the way you broke it down also makes tremendous sense.
Yes.
Because an individual will have their individual experiences in the past and
Absolutely.
also things that were taught to them by their family, let's say, or by their society, their even religion. And so a different type of attachment, then that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Yes, correct.
I want to ask you more about that, Connie.
Yes.
You're really
please.
sharing a lot. Going to follow up with a big question soon. But I certainly want to understand more about an example of those limiting beliefs. That way, I think that we can really touch a lot of people as they think about their own life. So we'll take a short break, and then we'll come back, and I'll ask you some examples of limiting beliefs.
Okay,
We'll join you
sure.
in a moment.
Thank you.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Welcome back to the Winner's Circle. I'm your host, Dr. Sean Hubbard, joined by my friend, Connie Lam. She's teaching us a lot about healing and a lot about what it takes, particularly at times like this when we've had challenging year, challenging circumstances, and we want to transition into more effective and more functional times. Connie, welcome back. I wanted to follow up on some of those limiting beliefs that you were talking about, and I wonder if you have any examples from your clients or other people that you've come across, examples of limiting beliefs that can get in our way.
There are so many. I can say like thousands, even more than that, beliefs. But the very general one, I think all of you have heard about or all around is about money, for example, right? Money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work very hard to get money, to earn money. And then, people have a very bad relationship with money is because of the beliefs, a majority they're carrying from their parents. So money is a big part of the limiting beliefs that they have. And then for relationship-wise, it's more about the self-love. For example, the limiting beliefs can be, I don't deserve love. I don't believe there's true love. I don't believe like a love can be long-lasting. Due to perhaps they might coming from broken family. Maybe their parents have some marriage issues when they were young. So most of the beliefs they're picking up from there. And even when I was like career also, they're not smart enough, they're not good enough. And then they will also have like the beliefs of, other people are always better than them. Most of the negative thoughts that you have is already the beliefs. Wow. So you can be like millions maybe. So when one of my clients who came to me will ask, can I release all of my limiting beliefs? I would say, all right, so let's work on it for the rest of our lives.
Wow. That's amazing, That's amazing. What I hear you saying are that these limiting beliefs are many times things that have been said to us or things that have been shown to us and experiences that we've just lived along the way, especially during our formative years, if I understand you correctly.
Yes, correct. However, there's some beliefs can be more deep-rooted in your subconscious mind. That is the majority that creates all the recurring life patterns in your life. And that would be the beliefs that we need to release, or we need to reprogram it. Yeah, we don't have to reprogram or cancel or release every single beliefs that we have. Because some small beliefs, and it's okay that we can keep it there, as long as it doesn't really affect our life, or that's not causing any issues in your life or create any patterns. So we need to find out. We will always find out during the session what are the really beliefs, and this is a very surface one. Because when we really get into deeper, they will come to the fear. Yeah, there will be a fear inside them instead of just the beliefs, the fear of not having enough money, the fear of not being able to find their soulmate, the fear of I may not be successful wherever that I go in my job. So, there's like levels of beliefs, not just the surface one is, I'm not good enough. But when you go deep down, it's not just that you're not good enough. It's something that inside them, they don't even believe themselves that they deserve any good thing in their lives. Yeah. So that levels where we keep digging, because theta healing is also we do a lot of digging, but in a very comfortable way, because we also have to consider the client's feeling. And that's what we do. We slowly guide them to really find out what is that happening there. And because we're healer, we also use our intuition to try to make the whole process as comfortable as possible for all the clients or even friends who come seeking for help.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you're really, Connie, you're really giving us a big treat here. This is amazing information. Through your description, I understand more about the challenge of these limiting beliefs and what they can do for us, how they can keep us in a cycle. I understand how when we release these from working with somebody who can help us understand them, and see the effects that they're having on our life, what that might do. But what I want to know from you is, and I guess this is the big question really, is when we release these, what does that look like? How do clients do?
You know, there's a quote that I always said, especially that you're a doctor, Dr. Sean. So there are wounds, you know, that never show on the body, but it's much deeper and hurtful than anything that bleeds. And that is emotional baggage, right? So that, for example, broken heart. The patients, they don't go to the doctor, hey, I have a broken heart, please heal me. Right. And I have a client, this is one of the examples that I have a client who had an issue. I think that her husband left her 20 years ago, something. They've been like separated for 20 years. And every time when she has to talk about her husband, she couldn't control herself. She would cry. She would just keep crying. She can't even talk about him for the past 20 years. And her sister, who is my client, referred her to me, and she came for just one session. And I released that grief. Actually, there's some grief, there's some sorrow inside her. And then 2 days after, her sister called me and she said, Connie, you won't believe this. The first time in the past 20 years, my sister is be able right now can talk about her husband without crying, without feeling all this sorrow, without feeling grief. And that is amazing. And they're all amazed by that. It feels like there's nothing happened to her. And for those 20 years, she was suffering from that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is one of the very specific case. And majority others are also, for example, if they're healed, because when you are healed, the way that you see things are different. And if you know what law of attraction means, right?
Definitely.
It's all about energy. It's like what you think that you attract. When you change your perspective in a more positive way, you don't force it, because it's naturally when your beliefs has been replaced, your mind is automatically in that direction already, and doors started to open, opportunities comes, and they're just like. I hear a lot from my clients how they started to get a new job, and they got like an increase in their salary, and also the clients who was be able to find a soulmate. So it is all of this. It's amazing. It's so beautiful.
Wow. Wow. You know, so what I hear you saying, I love this set of examples that you're giving, because they can really affect our life all around. Our
Yes.
relationship with ourselves, our relationship with other people, our relationship with our work life, our financial life. It sounds like when we're able to be healed, then it helps us in all of the different realms of life.
Yes, correct. All areas in your life.
And that must be fulfilling as a healer when you're able to participate and contribute to somebody like that.
Yes, I'm really, really thankful for this.
That's wonderful. And you're giving us a lot of information, and I'm learning and growing from it. I really appreciate it. I was wondering,
Appreciate you too.
Connie, where can somebody find you? Let's say somebody wants to work with you, and I can definitely see why they would. Where would they find you?
They can find me on Instagram. It's the same name, You Can Be Healed.
Yes.
And I also have my YouTube channel. It's also You Can Be Healed, which you just type youtube.com/ and then You Can Be Healed. That's my channel. So that's
Okay.
you can contact me from there.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you have some other resources I've come across, and I've heard, and of course I've been following you and waiting for them to come across. We just flashed an image of it. What is that resource about? You have a manual?
Yes, that is a general workbook for emotional healing and emotional awareness. So that is based on my experiences of after healing so many clients, and I really witnessed their life change for positive. So I put some like a journal, like a worksheet inside, so to help them to really increase the awareness of how their emotional patterns are. So they will be more aware of how they feel every single day and how they can replace those negative emotions slowly, day by day. And that is because I know a lot of people, they love to write journal, love to write down. It's like a guidebook for them to help them to do that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I'm glad that you've done that, and I'm glad that you've offered that to the world. And it's just another example of what I've seen you exude and offer over the past handful of years that I've been tracking your progress. I really appreciate you coming on to the show and offering us guidance in this way, Connie.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you too. I would also like to share that because this is also messages that I would like to spread out, because majority of my clients, they're suffering from anxiety and depression. And this is a big category of people who come to me, like panic attack, anxiety, depression, and all of those. So I would like to say that don't try to wait for too long to get yourself healed. Because I also have clients who's been like seeing psychiatrists or psychologists for like 13 years taking medication. And I also have the youngest client who was only 13 years old at that time, and he's been taking already 3-4 years medicine and the medication for his depression. And then after a few sessions, he was healed. And I will never tell them don't take any medicine, but then somehow it just so happened almost every time the doctor we just told them, hey, you know what, maybe we can decrease the dose of your medication. And that's like things happen. So we need to work together. Healer and doctor is such a perfect like combination for the physically need heal and also emotionally, because they must work together to get together like a fully like the full healing, the whole to be in the whole. Yeah.
Perfect. That's wonderful. So I'm gathering from what you're saying that you work with people that are not just physically present, but also some people that are in other parts of the world?
Oh, yes. So it can be done online. It can be done on healing, like Zoom call. And normally we don't even need to have a video call. It can be just a voice call. It is also to protect their privacy. Some clients, they might not want to show their face. And when they get emotional and they don't feel comfortable, perhaps to cry or to share. So it can be just a voice call anywhere in the world.
Excellent.
Mm-mm.
Well, thank you. That's perfect. Thanks again for joining. I hope that we can meet again sometime and talk more about, let's say, the law of attraction and how that comes into play with our everyday life.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again. Really appreciate you, Dr. Sean.
Absolutely.
You are such an inspiration to me too.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I wish you a happy new year. 2021 is going to be an amazing year. So let's rock it.
That's right. Let's do it. And to all of you watching in the Winner's Circle, thanks for joining. I'm sure that you really enjoyed our wonderful guest, Connie Lam. And look her up. She keeps it 100. I've been following her for years. Very consistent, very therapeutic, always therapeutic. Very close friend. I really like her a lot, and you'll like her too. And you might even benefit from her healing. I'm sure you will. So look her up. And we'll look forward to seeing you back here next week at RVN TV, Monday, 2 o'clock, Tuesdays at 6 o'clock. And of course, wherever you've seen this, and you can find me at drshawnhubbard.com. Look for you there. Until then, keep winning, guys. Take care.